the Books, Life, and Shenanigans podcast with your host, Amanda Bird.
Hey, and welcome to today's episode of the Books, Life, and Shenanigans podcast. If you're hearing the chirping or whatever else, it's because I'm outside. I am going to try to edit these noises out, so we'll see how well that actually goes. Y'all, my teammates at work are bad influences. Really bad influences. Iced coffee. Bad influences. Like I said, I wanted to try something a little different for today, so we'll see. We'll see how it works out, right? These chairs are really uncomfortable, so I may shift. Well, not really uncomfortable. Actually, that's even better because now I can actually look at the camera instead of myself, even though I'm probably going to look at myself anyway. So on this week's episode, we are talking DNF as well as distractions. For those of you unfamiliar with the acronym DNF stands for, it means did not finish, in relation to books, right? We all have our reasons for DNFing. I will get into, the different ways I try not to. Well, not try not to, but I'll get into, my reasons as well as other kind of popular reasons. Well, not popular reasons, but reasons other people do it, right? Because that's what we do. Sometimes we have to not finish a book, whether it's to save our sanity or just because the book is just not keeping our attention or whatever the case may be, right? So we've all got it. Even those of us that swear we don't. Hell, I was one of those people for a while. And then we've got distractions for the life part of this week's episode. Distractions instead of facing and or doing the work, right? Getting shit done. And that's what I mean by getting shit done. Doing the work to heal. Actually getting work done, and I'll go into that in a little bit too. I might even kind of lopside this, right? DNF this might turn into a much shorter segment, and then go into distractions for quite some time. Also, I want to show you guys this really cool new ring and kind of bitch about it, right? So here's this ring. I'm actually going to take it off of my hand. So it's a lotus ring, right? And it's got the sorry, autofocus is killing me. It's got the smoke colored gemstone in the middle, and then like cubic zirconia or whatever on the sides. Now you look at this band and you see, all right, cool, it's like a decent sized band, right? I'm not going to talk about what I paid for this ring. What I am going to talk about is the fact that I overpaid for this ring. Like, absolute fucking bullshit. Should have searched Temu or Shein for it, right? Because it's a $5 ring at best. So if you come across a Shopify store called luxurclass, Luxor class, one word, right? Like luxury. Maybe it's Luxur. I am kind of on my phone, but I might be able to find it. I don't know if... Okay, so I accidentally closed out of that video, and I'm just going to start all over again because I'm recording this on my... Actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to start all over again. Fuck that. So, I'm going to pop the name up on the screen. Probably add it into the description too, so that y'all know to avoid this shop like the fucking plague. By the way, I don't really care if that if that phrase is like unacceptable these days, because there have been plagues all throughout human history. And this one really isn't one because we have vaccines for it. And we have treatments for it. So, anyway. Yeah. I'll look up that name and pop it on the screen and throw it in the description as well. As always, remember, if you enjoy this episode, please remember to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe on whatever platform it is you are listening or watching on. The subscriptions I can track, which is probably a little bit more important, is Spotify, Substack, and YouTube if you're watching. Spotify and Substack are, of course, audio. So, yeah, that's where we're at with that. So, handy dandy notebook. The other thing, if you want to become a monthly supporter and have my awesome gratitude and get some super cool bonuses, well, monthly/yearly, because you can pay monthly or you can pay yearly. There are 2 different options for that on Substack, booksLifeandShenanigans.substack.com, and is spelled out in word form. Or you can head over to ko-fi.com/Amanda Bird and make a one-time donation to maybe help me get some better equipment and or editing software for videos, because if I have one more fucking fight with Adobe Rush. So, yeah, there's that. And also, the video app on my phone that I have already paid for this purpose, the recording app, fucking sucks too. Yeah, Cyberlink, you can. Gonna bitch about you forever. So, if y'all want to help me out with that, it'd be much, much appreciated. Also, equipment for, like, traveling and such, because I have a super fun idea for next week's episode that might be just a whole lot of shenanigans, right? Books for sure. Probably no life, but a whole lot of shenanigans. Not only to make up for the lack of shenanigans, but also there's an event the week prior. So maybe, just maybe, I will record that podcast episode at the event, right? That'd be super cool. Another new fun thing to try out. It wouldn't be like a regular occurrence because I'm still trying to keep it between 2 and 3 events per year. So next year might go a little higher just because I have a few I would like to try out. Also, looking to do another event this year at the end of the year in December in Ocala, as long as Spookala is still going to do their pop-up. So that's where we're at right now. Okay, so to start off, DNF this. I was trying to think of something witty, right, so that I could keep both topics kind of like under DNF, right? So I was going to be like, distraction, not finish this, or something. It didn't work. No. So the title of this episode is just going to be DNF this and distractions. So yeah, I guess my brain's just not working. That's kind of where where I'm at this weekend. Fun new makeup scheme. Screwed up with the highlighter, but we're not going to go there. So, without further ado, let me stop getting distracted and get under DNF this. Under, on top of, into, whatever, doesn't matter. Reasons to not finish books. I've got one I'm currently reading right now. I will not disclose the name of the book or the author. I will say there's a point in any piece of literature, right? Especially in fiction, and it's not just for me, it is for other people as well. I'm noticing, people read books to escape from reality most of the time, right? So the political commentary and and everything that kind of falls under that specific umbrella. And when I say political commentary, I'm not just talking about politics. I am talking about politically correct whatever. Now, I am probably one of the least politically correct people I know you probably listen to, whatever the case may be. When someone basically bashes you over the head with sexuality, sexual preference, politics, religion, all of those topics that you're trying to get away from, right? All of those topics that you're reading to get away from, because it's just doom scrolling. You know, it's a thing, right? Like, it's nothing but doom and gloom out there these days, and we read to get away from that. So when I opened my Kindle and started reading this particular story, I think I may have gotten about 20-25 pages in before I texted Jess to ask her, hey, have you ever experienced this in a book? And she's like, yeah, and it's the most annoying thing ever. So it lets me know, like, okay, cool, even my friends who are younger than me, a lot younger than me, they think the same thing, right? So it's not, oh, you're just an old curmudgeon. I am an old curmudgeon. We'll clear that up right fucking now, because I am, and we know it. But when it comes to books or any kind of entertainment, right? Movies, books, because the movies are really bad for this these days. You gotta knock it the fuck off, man. You have to. Because what's going to happen is people are going to not finish your story, your book, or your movie. They're just going to stop giving you money altogether. So from the creator's standpoint, I try really hard not to include my beliefs, right? I will make fun of both sides, all sides, the entirety. My characters will make fun of everyone. No one is safe. My characters, because they're serial killers, again, no one is safe. They're gonna get killed. Am I gonna get called out? Oh, you killed her because she's whatever race, or you killed this guy because he's gay. Hold up. She's a serial killer. She don't give a fuck. She's gonna kill you for her reasons. End. Period. Done. Don't like it? Cool. I can find more readers who understand that I'm not trying to do these things. Now, from the creator standpoint, and I'm only going to do this for like a minute or two because I want to get back to the reader standpoint. From the creator standpoint, us as creators, like if that's what you want to do, cool, go right ahead. You're going to have your readers, and you're going to have the people who tear you clear the fuck up for it. You know what? Just take a look at Larry Correia. Larry Correia's fucking, I love his books. I love his books, and I do think he's a good person. The people who believe all of the rumors, they haven't met him. They haven't had a conversation with him, like a legitimate conversation, aside from trolling his Facebook, or his Twitter, or MeWe if he's still over there, or wherever else. Like, here's the thing. If you disagree with it, keep walking, right? Like, some people don't like the idea of a female serial killer. Cool, you're not my audience. I'm okay with that. Don't waste your time, your energy, your breath, whatever, coming after me. Because that's all you're doing is wasting your time. You're giving me shit to laugh at. Promise. But when it comes to, like, just don't waste your time. Just stop giving that creator your money. If they are touting things that you disagree with, then fine, so be it. So in the case of Larry Correia, they go after him. Well, you know what? Maybe he's not the best example. But let's just go with his books, right? His books do not tout religion in any way, shape, or form, aside from in fantasy, right? So there's the Church of the Mortal Condition, and they worship who fucking knows what. But they're hilarious. They're smart, but they're also stupid. And honestly, I'm sorry, the Church of the Temporary Mortal Condition, my bad. Right? Pretty sure I got that right that time. But Hood was their leader, and then when he got killed, his daughter Lucinda took over, and they basically pray to Cthulhu. I will always say that Cthulhu is my chosen deity, but is that the religion that Larry practices? No. Does he use this religion to paint over his beliefs and spout out his beliefs? No, he doesn't. Does he talk about guns a lot and get really technical about guns? Abso-fucking-lutely. Why? Because they are monster hunters. Those weapons mean everything to hunt these monsters. So for people to be like, oh, I DNF'd it because he's preaching about guns. He's not preaching about guns. He's not preaching about gun rights. He will make an offhanded, one of the characters will make an offhanded comment or a joke about it, or jokes about politicians. Every politician jokes about religion. He's got one character who's a monster hunter, and the dude is a devout Christian. And then you've got another one who's a devout Mormon. So he's not making fun of them. He's just bringing it in for some texture, for some character development. And it just so happens that these two characters are just, if he ever kills them off, I'm going to have words with him. Because Larry, please don't do that. So yeah. A lot of people will choose those reasons, or he's going off about guns and he's too technical about guns and it's not enough monster huntery. If you've ever read a Larry Correia Monster Hunter book, I promise you there is enough blood, guts, and gore and monster hunting and everything else to make up for the technicalities, like the gun tech and all that other fun stuff. Oh, also, if you're commenting on my nails, the only reason they are this long is because they're going to look really fucking awesome when I do them later this week for the event. So yeah, that's that. I had thought about doing them Wednesday, and then I realized I have to load in on Thursday, so that's probably not the best idea. Wait till Thursday after, load in when I come home. Shower, do my nails, go to bed. So yeah, a lot of that's kind of like the most front to my mind type of example of why people will DNF books, right? Just because they don't agree with the author specifically. Now, in the case of this book that I am really trying hard not to DNF right now, I think I'm going to give it a total of 50 to maybe 60 pages. This one specifically beats me over the head with and in the face with the sexuality of the different characters that you are introduced to rather quickly, right? And when I say rather quickly, we're talking in the first couple of pages, you're not meeting these characters, you meet one of, but the rest of them you're not really meeting, and you're hearing about them, which is great. It's great to know about this character that I'm going to come into contact with, whether in this book or in this series, and hopefully it's going to be sooner than later. I don't give a fuck what their sexual preference is. I don't care. I don't care what they identify as. I don't care about any of that until I actually meet the character. So for 20 some odd pages, this author is going on about this one's bisexual, this one's gay, this one's trans, this one's this one's that. I do not give a flying fuck. And if I had one to give, I still wouldn't give it. Because now what you're doing is you're making me think as a reader. We're not going to go with what I think as an author. We're going to just push that to the side for now. I think I've already covered what I think as an author. As a reader, you're making me say, Jesus, fuck. Cthulhu, save me from this. Is there a way that you can relay these characters to me without beating me over the head with their sexual preference or what they identify as? Because I will not care until I meet these people. They're fictional characters. I get that. But the whole point of fiction is to not deal with what I'm dealing with in my everyday life. Now, you go anywhere, you watch something on TV, You're being smashed in the face with this, beaten over the head with LGBTQIA+. Look, I don't give a fuck who you are. If you are kind to me, I'm going to be kind to you. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be kind to you anyway. You know why? Because that's what I do. The only time I will stop being kind to you is when you stop being kind to me. And even then, chances are, I'm probably still going to be kind to you in what will be our very, very limited interactions from that moment on. Because I am going to choose not to associate with you. Right? I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I have a very, very good homie. That's right, I said homie because he's my homie. Who is transgender, and I love him very, very much. Very much. Honestly, never would have known if he didn't tell me. But my point is this. I'm not discriminatory. So if I don't like you, it's because of some bullshit you did or said. It's not because of who you are, who you choose to sleep with, which gender you identify with. None of that. What your politics are, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Some of my best friends are on the opposite end of the political spectrum. Some of them are further away from center than I am. How about that? I can't even say opposite end because I'm not at one end and they're not at another. Now, some of them are dangerously close to either end. I'm not going to get into that, but what I'm saying is I don't give a fuck. If I like you, I like you. If I don't, I don't. That's on you. Like, and just a quick side note here. There are people out there who will associate their identity with, like, associate who they are as a person with social acceptance and their relationship status. And when I say relationship status, it's like they define themselves by the relationship that they're in with someone else, not the relationship that they're in with themselves. And this is I think one of the biggest problems we have in society today, because I can say this because I went through this. I'm still kind of sort of going through this, right? Especially with what I've been through. I don't know who the fuck I am sometimes. Most of the time, I don't know who I am. Especially after losing myself to a narcissist. But, because now I got to figure out who I am again, and the things I like, and the things I want, and the people I want to surround myself with. So, like, I get it. I totally get it. But y'all need to find out who you are too, right? Because associating, your identity doesn't depend on someone else. It depends on you. It's all on you. Your life, your choice, your boundaries. It's up to you. Okay, that's enough of my social commentary for now. Back to not finishing books. So yeah, this is probably going to be a book I don't finish because I do not think this author lets up about character sexuality and gender identification. And I'm not the type of person to care about that, so I'm not gonna. And it's a shame too, because I would really like to read this person's stories. I think they're going to be some good stories. Unfortunately, because of that, I will likely never know. It's not the first book I've DNF'd, but I will say it's the first book I've DNF'd in a while. I would have to go into my Goodreads to figure out what I've DNF'd, because I had my first one, and that caused me to create my Goodreads shelf. But since I'm on my phone, I'll have to get back to that another day. Matter of fact, let's make a note in our handy notebook. Oh my goodness, I really hope I can remake that noise. Like the way I just did that, because that was fun. That would be more fun if I could. I think that was a squirrel. I just got distracted by a squirrel. Literally an actual squirrel on the roof. Anyway, I think I would make Steve proud. Be better if I could sound a whole lot more like Steve, but Yep, I didn't even bother to pause the video while I took that note. Sorry. Which means you're probably going to have about 30 seconds, maybe 45 seconds of silence. So now on to distractions. Distractions do not help us. Distractions are not our friends. Under any circumstance. Oh, maybe not under any circumstances, but distractions are just not our friends. Again, I say this from personal experience as well as reading from a lot of people, you know, when they're healing or even just like trying to work. Distractions don't help. I mean, last week at work, all 5 days, I was distracted on some level. Some days were worse than others. And the days that were worse were bad. Bad. I could not focus enough to do more than one task every 10-15 minutes. Like, it was that bad. And then do customer calls on top of that, right? So my day is broken up by customer calls, and then in between the calls I do the different tasks, and then I've got, you know, some time set aside each day to wrap up those tasks and any other notes and shit like that. So there were 2 days that were really bad, and then the other 3 weren't as bad. Now, that's just day job. Distractions when I'm writing. Oh, that's about to be an epic shitstorm because I have a 1-month deadline. And this may or may not be like how I function best, but I should probably figure out, maybe a different way to work, right? Because it stresses me out for a month, and then I'm like, fuck, I gotta write this entire book in a month, and then get it to my editor. The whole thing's just a mess. Maybe I'm just a mess. I mean, we already know I'm a mess, so there's that. But distractions when I'm writing are really bad. Most of the time. Now, because I am a pantser, or discovery writer, whichever you choose to call it, I will incorporate research into my writing sprints, which is fine. The problem is when that research turns into a weird rabbit hole of distraction, and then I've wasted 2 hours of writing time because I'm too busy going down this rabbit hole looking into other shit that started with, this is what I want to put in the book, and then went sideways. So again, detrimental. Now, distractions when it comes to healing and just facing your emotions and doing those things that it takes, doing the work to heal. That's probably the worst, because you're distracting yourself because you don't want to face it, right? The distractions are usually an on-purpose thing. That's not good. That's not good for you, because it's, in the long run, it's only going to make it worse. Distractions from healing and facing your emotions are okay every once in a while. And in the beginning, it's really hard, right? Because you're like, okay, that's it. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to do what I have to do to heal. I'm going to do... You're just like, you're there, right? You're ready. You're excited. You're like, yeah, I'm going to do this. Let's go. And then that first moment, that first, let's just say journal prompt, right? That you are presented with, and you're forced to start sitting with those emotions, those feelings, those thoughts, the memories. It sucks. It fucking sucks. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you, yeah, it's fucking awesome. It is the furthest thing from awesome. It is the furthest thing from pleasant. Like, it is It's brutal, it's rough, and this is unfortunately what we have to do. We are not going to become better versions of us. We are not going to become the us's that we want to be. We're not going to heal. We're not going to get past whatever we need to get past, right? Because putting it in a compartment is just going to stick it there, and it's going to fuck with us for the rest of our lives. Silencing it is going to silence it for so long, and it's going to come back. Shutting it up, you know, sorry, same thing as silencing. Ignoring it, bad fucking idea. I have done all 3 of these, and I promise you, at this point in my life, I am kind of upset that I have done all 3 of those, right? I have ignored it, I have compartmentalized, and when I was really good at compartmentalizing, I was an absolute bitch. What's funny is friends of mine that I've been friends with for, 20 plus years, 30 years, might even say, we really liked that version of you. You didn't take any shit. And they would be 100% correct. I didn't take any shit. Now I take shit and wonder what the fuck happened. What happened is I have empathy. And that gets taken advantage of by certain types of people. By a lot of people, actually. And I never really, I had boundaries, sort of. Now I'm developing better boundaries, and kind of eagerly awaiting the ability to be like, nope, that's boundary. Respect it or fuck off. So, distractions are going to prevent you from being able to do these things. That's exactly why they're called distractions, because 9 times out of 10, we're distracting ourselves. And that's not what we want to do, right? We want to get better. We want to feel better. We want to be comfortable with who we are. And be confident. And get that self-esteem and that self-worth back. Or develop it for the first time. Distractions won't allow for that. Distractions are, I'm not going to say inherently bad, because they're not. Sometimes we need a distraction, right? That's why we read. Reading is a distraction from normal life, from day-to-day bullshit, from all of the doom and gloom that's just forever pressing down on us, and we feel like we have the weight of the world on our shoulders. Which, by the way, you don't have the weight of the world on your shoulders. So, take a deep breath. Remind yourself, I will control what is in my power to control. Other people are not in your power to control. What you see on the news is not in your power to control. Anything that anybody comes at you with, unless it's part of your job and your responsibility, right? Like, say my boss comes at me with, okay, so this customer is not going to renew, or this customer had a complaint about you, which that doesn't happen. Okay, cool. My downstairs neighbor just came out. Fuck. Anyway, what's in my power to control is my interactions with my customer. What's in my power to control is reaching out to that customer to find out, okay, why are you not going to renew? Is there anything we can do to get you to renew, right? So there's things that are in my control, and there's things that are not in my control. And every day it's an exhausting fucking battle. Exhausting battle to say to myself, okay, Amanda, control only what you can control. Worry about only what you can control. Stop focusing on everything else. And I'm not gonna lie, when I said exhausting, it truly, truly is exhausting. It fucking sucks. Sucks almost as bad as walking into healing and growing and having to face these thoughts and emotions that are so negative and just make you feel so bad about everything and everyone, and you just don't want to deal with it. I get that. Distractions are not always our friends, especially when it comes to our own growth and our own healing. Every so often, sure, go right ahead. Distract yourself. In the beginning, it's going to be really hard not to. And sometimes, as you go through whatever healing process you're going through, for me, it's a program, we get journal prompts 3 a week, and sometimes I will intentionally distract myself, and then I out loud say to myself, no, stop. You are not going to get better. You are not going to grow. You are not going to heal if you don't face this, right? So that's what we need to do. And it sucks. So if you need some support, shoot me an email. I will do what I can, and I will relay personal experiences so that I can maybe I can maybe give you tips on how to get past that, right? How to force yourself to do it. The big thing I do is I talk to myself out loud. I'm gonna fuck where I'm at. I don't care. I'll be shopping. I believe I talked about this a couple weeks ago in an episode. I was at Michael's and I went walking through the scrapbook sticker aisle and started to cry because we were talking about starting a travel scrapbook, and we were going to travel, and we were going to do this, and we were going to do that, and didn't happen, right? Not gonna. So, yeah, shoot me an email. And I will do what I can, or even just comment, and I'll try to help you out, try to give you some tips. But that's going to wrap up this week's episode. So remember, like, share, more importantly, hit that subscribe button. And again, appreciate you hanging out with me. Always appreciate you hanging out with me. And there's always more info in the description, along with all of the links. Thanks so much.
This has been the Books, Life, and Shenanigans podcast with Amanda Bird. Song credit, audionautics.com. Intro action, AUDIONAUXCIX.com. And if you'd like to support this podcast, head over to substack.com/@Books, Life, and Shenanigans.